Tonight, we're going beyond the familiar story of the Seder, way beyond the historical retelling, to uncover its deeper meaning. We're going to look at it as a personal journey to absolute freedom. See, this isn't just about what happened thousands of years ago. It's about what is happening to you right now at your table.
So let's just start with a question that really changes everything about how we see this night. Think about it. All year long, we remember the Exodus from Egypt. But on Seder night, we don't just remember it, we actually live it. You are, in this very moment, leaving Egypt.
And what's so incredible is how the very name of the holiday, Pesach, hints at this incredible depth. According to a really fascinating midrash, the word itself, when you break it down, reveals a hidden number.
And that number is 613. Now you're probably asking, how in the world do they get that? Well, in the tradition of gematria, every Hebrew letter has a number, and the Midrash does something brilliant here. It reads Pesach, not just as a name, but as a phrase, Pesach, which means the mouth speaks. The letters for Sach, Samech, and Ket add up to 68. And what does the mouth speak of? Well, the other 545 commandments. So you add 68 and 545, and you get 613, the total number of commandments in the Torah.
So what's the big takeaway here? It means this night isn't just one mitzvah among many. No way. It's a spiritual experience that contains the entirety of our tradition. The Seder is like a microcosm of our entire spiritual DNA. It's one single night that holds all of our obligations and our entire identity. So where does this whole journey begin? Not with a story, not with a ritual, but with one powerful personal declaration, Kadesh. And believe me, the specific wording here is everything. You see, the very first word is a command. It's an order. The Haggadah doesn't say kiddush, the noun for sanctification. It says kadesh. It's an immediate call to action. You sanctify yourself. Take responsibility for who you are right now. It's a demand to actively define your unique, exceptional identity. And what this shows us so powerfully is that the first step to freedom is an internal one. Before you do anything physical, you have to recognize your own role in the story that's unfolding right at your table. You have to consciously choose to accept your identity and your destiny. And let's be clear, this declaration is about responsibility, not privilege. When we're called the firstborn nation, it's not a statement of superiority. It is the duty of the firstborn. It's a mission to guide, to teach, and to lead all of humanity toward the ultimate freedom of truth. And that's a responsibility we accept with the very first word of the Seder. Okay, so you've made this huge spiritual declaration. Now what? How do you make it real? Well, the Seder immediately grounds us. It builds a bridge from this big idea to actual action through a series of physical steps. These first few steps, they're a carefully designed process. We move from the mental declaration, Kadesh, to a physical act of purification, or chotz. And that shows us that true holiness, true identity, isn't just some abstract thought. It has to be expressed through real, concrete actions in the world. And the order of these steps, that's where the real genius is. See, normally when we're in a state of exile, we have to clean up the bad stuff first, right? To make room for the good. But the Seder flips that. Declaration comes before purification. And that's a signal that we are in a state of redemption. On this night, our positive actions, our declarations of who we are so powerful that they just automatically push out the negative. All right, this is where it all comes together. Because this personal journey of freedom, it turns out it was never just about us. It has a universal purpose. The way we usually tell the story is pretty straightforward. It's the story of the Jewish people's escape from an oppressive nation. It's our freedom from them. But what if I told you the deeper truth is something else entirely? The text doesn't just say the exodus of Israel from Egypt. It can be read as the exodus of Egypt. See, in Egypt, everyone was a slave. The Israelites were slaves to Pharaoh, sure, but Pharaoh himself was a slave to his own power, to his rigid, deterministic worldview. Israel's freedom introduced a totally new idea to the world, the concept of absolute freedom. And in doing so, it liberated even Egypt from its own spiritual bondage. So you see, our national story is really the world story. We're described as the quintessentia of humanity, a kind of catalyst meant to spark the spiritual fulfillment of the entire world. It's even said that the Hebrew language, the language of holiness, contains the root essence of all other languages. just as our people contain the seed of redemption for all other peoples. So, that was then. What about now? What does all this mean for us, today, in the 21st century? How do we live out this incredible mission? Think of the Seder as your annual mission briefing. It's the spiritual equivalent of packing your bags. This night is the final preparation, that last moment of calibration before you are sent out on your mission for the coming year. It completely realigns you with your purpose. And this completely changes how we hear that famous line at the end, right? Next year in Jerusalem isn't some passive wish we whisper into the wind. No, it's a declaration of intent. It means I am starting the preparations right now so that by next year I will be there. We don't just hope for redemption. We take concrete steps to make it happen. So as we sit at the Seder, the real question isn't just about retelling an old story. The Seder has prepared you. It's given you your identity, it's given you the process, and it's given you the mission. The only question left is, what are you going to do with it tomorrow?